Welcome everyone, this is Pine Leaf Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Terry Adwin.
Hi.
Hello, looks like it's just the two of us tonight.
Yeah, everybody else has got stuff to do.
Stuff
People are bonding with moms and stuff like that. I already did mine.
Ah.
And then we'll go drinking tomorrow, so it'll be okay.
You'll go drinking tomorrow. Let's head into our game news, and we'll begin with a tiny little update. Update 23.6, which, for a point update, this is rather small.
Yeah, it's tiny. It's like it should have been a ... update.
Yes. Yes. Adventures and Travelers loot boxes have new cosmetic items, including modified avatar cosmetics, new dwarven housing items, new Knickerbeaker cosmetic pets, and a war steed cosmetic for the steed of the Unearthed Kingdom. And these items should also be available at the Figments of Splendor from Filbert Fig. And yeah, I don't think I've checked any of that stuff out yet. Just noticed, yes, they're there. I haven't actually bought any of them. I wonder, do I need a Knickerbeaker following me around?
Does anybody really need a Knicker following them around?
Well, I suppose there is that. But yes, those are some new items in there.
I guess the Knickers kind of join the other questionable choices for pets that they've made. Like, some of them are really great, and some of them are on the level of, there's a Knickerbeaker. Why is there a Knickerbeaker? Although I'm still waiting for the Lingrous spider, because I want one of those so I can torment Sans.
Would it any spider tormentor?
Yeah, but the Lingrous ones would be great, because it'd be huge.
Okay, yeah, there is that. I'm not too sure.
It's got to be the size of the giant shrew, like bigger than the Hobbit characters.
I don't know if they'll give us a spider pet that large.
You guys are welcome, Standing Stone. You can toss it in the idea bucket. You all can thank me later when we see one of those.
Yes. Sans will be happy.
Hey,
yes.
I would rather see people's spider pets all over the place than bears everywhere. I'm just saying.
Well, there is that. And when bound essences are slotted into equipment on the socket control panel, the equipment becomes similarly bound.
Which it should be. I mean, I thought that was always a thing, so...
Yeah, because you would think, okay, yes, the equipment would be bound if you socket something into it that is bound. Yes.
I mean, it's a thing when you use the socket, when you socket stuff normally without using the socket control panel, so I don't understand why it wasn't doing that anyway.
Obviously,
not that I'm playing a lot with essences.
Well, I probably play even less with essences than you do. And quests and adventure areas, the Halls of Night and Inns of the Forsaken instances can once again be run at Tier 2 difficulty. And yes, the only reason I could think that this is 23.6 instead of 23.5.
Whatever,
yes, but whatever. Is that they have absolutely nothing they could think of that they want for 23.6. There's probably... That means they're expecting 24 to come in May. Not May, in June. And
I still think end of May.
Well, okay, it's possible for the end of May also. Okay. End of May, they did say late May or early June or something like that, or possibilities.
I think we could see it end of May. They were talking about doing another bow rower build next week.
Right, so we'll probably see what that's like, and maybe see what progress they've made on the 64-bit client, and I'm sure we'll all be ecstatic if they have Lua support then. Not that I'm all that optimistic on it, but it'd be great if it's there. Because I'd hate to be forced into a position where do I go 64-bit client or do I go Lua support? Probably depends on what character I'm playing. Because I don't have trouble. I don't think I really need a 64-bit client on the Legendary server. But for the ones that go bouncing around to places like Minas Tirith and stuff like that, yeah, I think I need a 64-bit client there. Let's then head into the LOTRO Beacon, issue 110, where it looks like they're setting off fireworks.
Yep.
And for the community spotlight, Maven, the Mythgard kin leader on Langible and Honor, will be discussing her master's thesis on LOTRO being worked in literature on a podcast on Sunday, May 19th. That's next week from this recording at 2 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully I could actually remember this one.
That's too early in the day for me to go, and I'm so bummed. I'm going to have to hear about it later.
Ooh. But if you want to register, you could click on the link in order to register for the event. So yes, that should be a very interesting master's thesis.
Mm-hmm.
And you could join the Acorn Oakley Saturday, May 11th.
That's today.
Oh, that was today. Yes, you're right. That was today. Well, that was the Fifth Force featuring festive, frolicking, and factual fantasy. Boy, she really loves her alliteration. And The Hope presents The Day of Wrath on Saturday, May 18th on Langible. And the Daft Pigs paying tribute for their friend Inferno Sounds on Guahir Saturday, May 18th. And you could click on the link to find out more. And Sip reflects on 12 years in his new BioBreak blog. So the kin is the Quendenose, the elven family in Quenya, is an all-elven kinship located on Crick Hollow, founded in September 2010. We welcome old and new elven players alike to join our family and help each other with all endeavors in Middle-earth. We craft, quest, skirmish, explore, socialize, role-play, and in general have a really great time doing what we elves do best. Heal the hurts of evil upon our beloved Arda. I thought I was making everybody else feel like a hamster. And, of course, eat bacon, our official kin food. We are open to Elvish members of all levels, classes, and ages, and are always looking for kind, active players. For more information, get an invite to our kin, please feel free to send a tell or mail to Melekdor, Lithaldoren, Durdroren, Melithian, or any officer that's online. Those names were a mouthful. So what's your favorite summer activity on Middle-earth?
Well, it's not fishing. Actually, I kind of really love the newer summer quests that they added to the festival. So the one like where you go around and you get the ice cream. You go around spitting water on people. Sarissa really enjoys spitting water on people from invisibility because all you see is the spit. It's mysterious splash of water. I'm trying to think. Oh, and the races. The races, not necessarily the races themselves, but in the keg race, there's that one dwarf who's lost all of his items in frustration. And I really love to do that quest because I really like to read the little letter that talks about where he had all of his stuff and how frustrated he was and why he threw it all away. Because I feel exactly the same way. I feel your pain, buddy. Because that's usually what happens when I bet on the dwarf races and the hobbit races. Is the dwarves and hobbits I bet on don't actually win, so then I feel like throwing something. So yeah, they really nailed that quest. I feel like they just nailed everybody's feelings in that quest.
I have a feeling I haven't tried that quest before, so.
Oh, you've probably done it. You just haven't read you haven't read the actual.
The first time. I probably read it when it first came out. But...
Yeah, I mean the list is pretty great. The way the list is written is pretty great.
Yeah. And as for me, favorite, well, it's just summer activity, not necessarily festival. So, I'm trying to think. I have a lot of trouble with that one, yes, because I don't think I do too much summer-specific stuff on there. I mean, because the picnic can get ignored. The picnic skirmish can get annoying at times because... So, yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. And no, it's not going around spitting water on people. I'm sure I'll come up with something 10 minutes after we finish broadcasting.
Probably.
Let's head into the fan site news then, where we had part 159 of The Knowledge of the On a Dream with Gamolio Dan. You gotta watch Middle-earth Baden. Cinco de Mayo celebration with Musica Bonitos. You gotta watch Winnie's Adventures in Middle-earth. And you watch Now with More Dwarves with The Dwarf Scholar. You can watch The Road Goes Ever On with Gravity 42. Watch Midweek Meranderings with Fibro Jedi. And Uger's Epic Adventures. Mythgard of Middle-earth with The Tolkien Professor. Gondor Has No Druids with Druid's Fire. Epic Shenanigery with Tesla the Panda, Adventures After Dark with Big Ed Mustafa, and you watch Saturday Journeys with A Wandering Red, and watch LOTRO, the Bowville edition. And our screenshot of the week is by Emma, who is apparently a warden. Or at least that's the impression I get there. And where is she at?
Dunland, maybe? Purple flowers.
Ooh, purple flowers.
It's hard to tell from the screenshot.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from the screenshot. It's certainly not an obvious location. If this were a word in Middle-earth as Emeraldina would be going, okay, where? Then that concludes our beacon for this week. So let's go into our store sales. Anything interesting for sale this week?
There actually is. So the news is that they're permanently releasing cosmetic weapon sets in the LOTRO store. They don't actually say which ones. They did put it in the launcher, which now I have to pull up and double check. The Storied Past weapon set, the Soaring Depths weapon set, and the Khazad-dûm weapon set. And I do not know what any of these look like, because I was going to track down pictures and then I got sidetracked and didn't do it. But that's cool that they have weapon sets in the store. And I also didn't check to see if you could, like, buy them separately and preview them, because that would also be useful to know. And I'm not logging into the game right now because I'm running the recording. But, yes, they have weapon sets, new weapon sets that are going to stay in the LOTRO store, which is nice.
Now, what exactly is a weapon set?
Well, it's a cosmetic weapons set, so presumably it's a set of appearances for specific raids or whatnot.
Oh, okay. They look the same as a particular. I guess because let's see. So
Yeah, they have an appearance of some other gear.
I guess because most when I think because to me, so that means it has a particular shield plus weapon look or something like that. Because
well,
I usually think I think of armor as being in sets. I rarely think of weapons as being in sets. That's what.
Well, but they are though. If you go through and you actually look, when they design the gear that comes out for not so much the classic stuff, but a lot of the newer stuff, there's a particular theme to the way the gear is designed. So the set of weapons actually has the same theme running through it, which is cool.
Oh, that tells
and I only
how
really
bad
pay
the
attention to this because I've only really paid attention to this since cosmetic weapons became a thing. Because cosmetic weapons didn't used to be a thing, so nobody needed to pay attention to it. But, of course, now that cosmetic weapons are a thing, and my thing is cosmetics anyway, I preview every single piece of gear that drops.
Ah, all right.
That's not just armor, that is weapons also.
I guess because I'm usually the only type of weapons I use are spears anyway, so therefore most of the cosmetic weapons are useless for me.
Oh, see, I preview everything because I have alts. So even if
yes, there is that.
Even if the character who gets it can't necessarily use it, there could be an alt at some point that does. So yes, I preview every single piece of gear that drops, which is why it takes forever for me to do inventory management. So the coupon this week gets you a morale bubble potion ×1 with coupon code bubble morale now through May 16th, and 20% off character slots, vet status, stat packages, and XP boosts. Yay, vet status! It went on sale 2 days after I already spent money on vet status.
That's the way it always goes.
I know, right?
And in fact, I believe that Cinders did the exact same thing because she created on Tuesday, right after we had our Tuesday session, Cinders came on and she had a new character that she had just created and of course vetted to catch up with the character that Sans and I had on there. So yes, 2 days before it went on sale.
Of course. I'm going back to the screenshot. I have no idea what shield this is that she's using, but it's really cool and I want it. It almost looks like it's Moria piece, because it looks like the Watcher's Eye. That's really cool.
Yeah, too bad I don't pay better attention to to cosmetics in order to be able to answer that question for you. Then let's head into our site news, and we'll begin with Where in Middle-earth is Emeraldina, number 7. And of course, last week's, of course, this also includes the answer to last week's.
Yeah, so last week, we talked about it after the podcast because we don't try guessing live on the air. Last week's was in Rivendell. It's a bridge right across from the last tunnel house. It was really, really easy. This week's is less easy, but I'm pretty sure I've got the location pinned down.
Well, I noticed that somebody responded to the article with an answer. Are people supposed to be doing that?
Yes, people can do that.
Oh, okay. Just making sure on that.
People can do that. I try not to look at them until I've had a chance to actually look at the picture.
Well, his answer was the same thing as pretty much as what yours was, so. Mm-hmm. Different wording, but same place.
Yeah.
And then that takes care of that. And then we head into our week in LOTRO.
Yeah, I guess we don't actually have to say whose turn it is since we all know Pine Leaf always goes last. So, This week, Landreval. So last week I talked about how I got the bookcase. And in the process of getting the bookcase, I got additional allegiance relics, so I was able to progress the allegiance. So this week, I actually did the next chapter of the Dwarf Allegiance, which it got unlocked. It was I think it's chapter 5. I think. I don't actually remember what the chapter was. It was a new chapter, and I was really excited to go do it. And I was so excited because I love helping dwarves. I've had so much fun with the Dwarf Allegiance. And so in this instance, there was something that happened in Moria with the Iron Garrison, and I am now completely traumatized by a certain NPC's death because I really didn't see it coming, and I actually really sobbed for like a couple of minutes after it happened because I was so upset. So, good job, Standing Stone, in making us care about characters again, because I've said before that they make us care. They did. I really cared about this character, and I was very, very upset to see what happened to him. And I haven't actually logged in Terry since, because I'm just so bummed. So, Tuesday, I was not in the mood to go playing around in Eregion, because the next Axley and friends are headed into Eregion. And I knew that we had enough time to actually get into the place where you go explore and can get the thorough title if you go through it all the way. I was not in the mood to do that. So we went through our lists of characters again, which is always kind of entertaining because it's like, well, who do you have at this level and who do you have at that level? And it's made a little easier now because, they changed up the way the characters are listed, so you actually can sort by level. So you can say exactly who you've got. You don't have to go through and try and pick it out based on alphabetical list of names. And we had level 20-ish characters, so I was running around as a high elf hunter, pew-pew-pewing all of the things. And Sans was very sad because she was running around on a Runekeeper, and Cinders and Pine Leaf were minstrels, and everything was dead before Sans finished her inductions. Because that's what happens when you run a red line Runekeeper, a Fire Arcade in a group, is everything's dead before you can touch it.
Right.
Been there, done that, I know that misery too. And then I talked about last week, I had Laura Terry in Wildermore. Yeah, she's done with Wildermore. I finished up on Thursday. I finished up on Wednesday, and then I didn't play on Thursday. I was playing again yesterday. So I did not end up finishing Wildermore side quests because I couldn't do it. I had just done it on another character not that long ago. And so I got to the High Knolls and I made it through all the Bayer Tor stuff. And then Nona kept sending me back and forth into Bayer Tor. And I'm like, I'm not doing the side quests on top of trying to do the epic because it's just not going to happen. So I hit level 85 and, I was just under 85 actually. I was 84 3/4. And decided to focus on the epic and wasted a bunch of mithril coins getting back and forth and in and out of the bill and playing with Ents and all that other fun stuff. But I was level 85.5 by the time I actually finished out Wildermore. And finally went back properly to Western Rohan. So she was back in Edoras, which was fun because she didn't get kicked out this time. And got to go through that fun thing with Theoden and Gandalf and everybody's there and then Theoden leaves and takes most of the people with him, but you're stuck behind helping out Eowyn. So I totally know how Eowyn feels being the one stuck behind. And I got sent off to the Entwade. So still kind of really starting Western Rohan. Mounted combat, by the way, still sucks. I'm really, really terrible at it. And the way they have mobs scattered all over the place, I've died at least 3 times so far, because you try to peg one thing, and that one thing runs you through 5 other things. And if you're lucky and get the guy dismounted, the other 4 things will kill you before you can actually finish him off. So, yeah, that was the thing that happened to me today. So, I'm taking a break from LOTRO for probably the next couple of days, because me and horses, man. Horse stuff in the game. I'm not really, but I'm so so glad that I'm 86 because she's made it to level 86, so I'm more than 2/3 of the way from level cap, and it's super exciting.
Whew.
I probably will end up doing all of Western Rohan too because I want the trait points. I need the trait points. I'm still working on 2 class deeds. I'm level 86 and I still have 2 class deeds outstanding. Fight On isn't too bad. That's the skill that you use to regain health over time, to heal over time. And I've used it frequently enough that I'm only like about 50 away from finishing that deed off. But man, I gotta tell you, Merciful Blow, you have to use the skill 350 times, and I swear I've used it 350 times, so I don't know if it's not counting all of the times I've used it, or if it's only counting when you use it and then something dies. Because I'm only at 149 uses of this skill. I am so tired of using this skill. If I'm lucky, I might finish that class deed by the time I get to level 100. Because I'm level 86 and I'm only at 149 of 350 uses. So, yeah. How was your week, Pine Leaf?
We'll begin with Honor, or my warden there. I completed the questing in the Silvertine Lodes and went into the Jern's Way area where I've done all the questing up to where you enter into the Fanged Pit, so therefore I've done most of Durin's Way there.
That's a fun area. You should go through that in Warden stealth. That'll be fun. I actually love questing the Fanged Pit on a burglar because nothing senses you, ever.
Nothing senses you?
Well, everything has really crap stealth detection. Like, unless you're actually walking through the mobs, you're perfectly safe if you're invisible.
Well, I'm trying to remember if there's a Merville deed, I'm very definitely going to have to be killing lots of stuff while I'm in there.
It's a nameless deed. I think the Merville count is nameless.
I'll have to double check when I'm in there, see which deed they count for. But anyway, I do have to kill some of those, and I'll be having to kill at least a couple of them for bingo. And of course, whatever other quests I have in there.
Yeah, there's other quests. But I mean, for the exploration part, because the exploration, which I'd like to do on burglars, because the traits that you get for exploration are actually applicable to burglars. That's fun to do in stealth.
All right, so therefore, I've managed to get up to there on there, and it looks like they finally have bingo operating properly, because last week bingo never advanced, but this week it looks like bingo advanced twice, so it could be that they finally got the switches working right. We'll see next week on theirs, but now bingo's up to the Fanged Pit, and hopefully I could finish that chapter just in time on there. Now, let's see, I ran around with Sands and Cinders, and oh, no, that was your thing. Never mind. I'm reading the wrong section. Never mind. Okay. Yeah, on Landville, my warden participated in Wednesday night Wandering Threats, where every other week we go after Wandering Threats in there, and we went after the Wandering Threats in the North Downs and in Evendim. And there I was introduced to a nice little plug-in that helps you to more easily look for those things.
Oh yeah, the roving threat tracker. That's really nice.
And it was interesting there because there was somebody else who was using it. In fact, I think it was mentioning of him using it before he joined us that inspired me to bring down the plug-in so that we could keep track of things. And I even discovered something that he didn't know about while we were doing it, because I accidentally hit this strange looking green dot that was in the upper right hand corner, and I said, "Oh, that's how you get to update your location on the on the roving threat map." Okay, so I got through there, and we were able to find all the roving threats for those 2 areas. And those are the first roving threats that I had done on that character, and I think it's the first time I ever seriously done any roving threats at all on any character. And that allowed me, I'm trying to think what did I, oh, that's right, I was able to get some scrolls of empowerment for that, so I was starting to improve my legendary weapon that I'm using on Landravol. And then on the field trip, our group returned to the, oh, actually, no, I didn't talk about Friday Night Fights. Yes, because I also did Friday Night Fights last night. And during Friday Night Fights, we were doing skirmishes. We had only a small group, so therefore we were doing small fellowship skirmishes. And we ran Strike Against Dananglor because we had 2 wardens and a runekeeper. So I thought, all right, we didn't have to worry about the champions complaining because the O-line champions complain whenever you do Dananglor because AoEs can kill you if there are a lot of those fireballs in the area.
Yes.
Yes. So we were running there. So we had a group that could do Dananglor well. So we went through with Dananglor. Then we ran Trouble in Tuckborough. Then we decided, let's see how long we could last in Survival Barrel Downs. And I think we were just short of 15 minutes on that. And then after Survival Barrel Downs, we ran a Tier 2 Thievery and Mischief to finish out our night on that. And while we were going through this, for some reason, I was taking a look at my deed log, and I realized that I had 3 class deeds that were still incomplete on this character. Note, this is a level 120 warden. So Terry Adams' character, I think, was only about level 85, and you had a couple left. So you can imagine having 3 left on level 120 characters.
Oops.
And one of them was a tier 1.
Ow!
And in fact, today I managed to finally finish all 3 of them because they were close enough that I was able to finish them today. And the last one I got finished was the tier 1. Is the defensive strike one is, I just don't do defensive strike all that much, so, and that showed because it took me far. Now, you can imagine this is in contrast to the version that I have on Honor, where the only class deeds that I have remaining are ones that did not unlock until I was level 50. Were 2 that unlocked at level 50. Those are the only 2 that I've not yet completed on there. Plus, of course, the one you can't do until you're 58 anyway, because that requires you to... I think level 58 is a prerequisite for actually getting it when you do your class quest and all that stuff. I'm sure there's a deed behind that also. But yes, I finally managed to finish all of those things in there, and the only reason why I bothered to do it was because I noticed last night that, I had not yet done it. Then also yesterday during the field trip, we headed out to the Lone Lands. We did our Lone Lands group, and we finished up our time in the Lone Lands. Actually, I do have one more quest with my character because I'm playing a lore master, so I have to remember to go and speak with Radagast and rescue a few animals so that I could get my lore master cosmetic pets. Not that you can get cosmetic pets another way these days, even if you're not a lore master. But it's nice to be able to have 2 cosmetic pets out at the same time if you were so inclined. Now let's look at news beyond LOTRO, where we have an unboxing by Draculetta of the Lord of the Rings Journeys in Middle-earth. So Draculetta opens up the box and tries to figure out what everything inside of the box is. I mean, some of them are obvious, of course, because it's easy to know what all the miniatures are. Oh yeah, these are the heroes, and these are the enemies you'll be facing. I guessed a little bit wrong on something concerning the map pieces, but pretty much gives you an idea of what's in the game if you're interested in playing. This is Fantasy Flight Games Journeys in Middle Earth. This is a adventuring game using even Lord of the Rings Online, using similar stuff to what they do in other games like them, such as Mansions of Madness and Descent and Imperial Assault. So this is their Lord of the Rings side on this. In order to play this, you have to interface with an app, because the app takes care of the enemies in there, and the players are playing cooperatively in order to help each other and try to survive and unravel the mystery. We currently have 20 supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to join this illustrious rate of players and help support the LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you can support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you'll find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be guest with us for an episode of LOTRO Players News. We did not receive any emails this week, but if you'd like to send us one, you can send it to podcast@LOTROPlayers.com. You can also follow us on Twitter, Players Alliance @PlayersAlliance, LOTRO Players @LOTROPlayers, Arendis @Arendis, Pine Leaf Pine Leaf Needles, Senswinda Senswinda, Terry Adwin Terry Adwin. We have two shows. On Thursdays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News, and on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You join us for our shows at LOTROPlayers.com/live. And that's all for tonight, and this is Pine Leaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.